Story 1. I am waiting for my parents to die. Looking after them is all I have left. Story 2. The time before I was born and the time after I am dead are already essentially infinite. Why make that bigger by quitting sooner? I will take every second out of spite. Story 3. Because my daughter doesn't deserve to grow up without me. Story 4. My parents once had unprotected sex so I could be born. To keep living, stopping would be difficult and would affect other people. Story 5. Simple moments of laughter and happiness with loved ones are what make life worth living for me. They truly brighten my days. Story 6. My dog. I cannot fathom leaving her alone and not understanding why I am not there anymore. I do not trust anyone outside my family to take care of her. Laughing out loud. Story 7. Honestly, my children, I wasted so much of my life doing drugs. I have been sober for years, so my life now has meaning. Story 8. I admit that sometimes I like to annoy people. Ha, how are you feeling? Story 9. I want to see how things turn out. I am very disappointed I will not be around for another couple of 100 years, to be honest. Story 10. Being a random piece of stardust for eternity seems a bit boring. Story 11. Being alive is awesome. You get to go to Denny's and wear a hat. Story 12. My fiancé. The new chapters of ENA Dream Barbecue are not out yet. Story 13. Spite against all those who did not think I would make it this far and against family who do not care. Story 14. So many of us think about it. Yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary of my brother doing it. His wife suddenly died. She was a registered nurse and had been caring for him during the 5th year of his cancer battle. His son struggled with drug addiction. He was in pain and on hospice. He did it his way. I think about it often. I cannot imagine how he did it. I would probably mess it up and keep living. Story 15. To see every wealthy donor who helped Trump lose their fortune until they needed food stamps. Story 16. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number, for example, 911 in the United States, or go to the nearest emergency department. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your country's emergency services or local crisis hotline. You don't have to go through this alone. Consider reaching out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. If you want, I can help find local resources. Honestly, too many people would be happy if I passed away, so I live to spite those people. Story 17. Family and pets are important to me. I would feel terrible if I died before my parents, and I will not be able to bear it when they pass away. Story 18. My cat does not like my mother, and there are not many people who could take him if something happened to me. He is a very sweet little guy, but he is quirky. Story 19. Me for starters. A close second is my immediate family. Story 20. Because my man needs me. He cannot do it alone in this world. Story 21. My wife and my cat. I love them both dearly, but in very different ways. Story 22. To finally live, not just survive. Those two are entirely different. Story 23. I want to see if I can turn things around and live a good life after my traumatized childhood. Story 24. At this point, I do not know. I am living because I am here. Story 25. I have a slice of pizza in one hand, a donut in the other, and all the streaming services on TV. Can't get better than this. Story 26. I refuse to die while any of my Warhammer miniatures remain unpainted. Story 27. Well, I cannot disappoint my dad anymore, but I can still disappoint my mom. Story 28. My kid's face when he beats me in a race around the park now is priceless. I used to be too heavy to run without wheezing. Today he yells, "Come on, slowpoke," and I actually keep up. That little "I'm proud of you, Dad" in his eyes is the only reason I need to keep going. What about you? Story 29. I am my only pillar. I depend on myself, and my dogs, kitten, and son depend on me. So I cannot let myself be defeated. Story 30. Our son and his wife are expecting twin granddaughters within the next 60 days. I want to hold them at least once. Twice or 3 to 5 times would be even better. Story 31. My two cats. It hurts me to know how devastated they would feel if I never came home. After they pass, I might walk myself into the sea. I'm really sorry you are feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number, for example, 911 in the United States. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are in the United Kingdom, you can call Samaritans at 116 123. Please consider contacting someone you trust or a mental health professional. If you want, I can help you find resources or stay with you here. Story 32. Some really cool movies are lined up in the next few years. Avengers, Dune 3, Spider-Verse. I cannot die without witnessing them. Story 33. My mom, my dad, and my cat. I am also rescuing a dog in a few weeks, so I have something to live for. Story 34. When things are at their worst, it's because I know if I give up, I'll never know whether things get better in the future. Any of us could easily be like the meme of the two miners heading toward diamonds, and one of them gives up right before the payoff. When things are not at their worst, the thought that I can make things better for the people around me simply by putting in the effort motivates me. I am what survives of me. Story 35. There are many reasons to live, but the number one reason is that I do not see any reason to die. Story 36. It will hurt my parents a lot, and I have two cats that I want to grow old with. Story 37. My grandmother. I know if something happens to me it would devastate her, so I need to try to stay alive. Story 38. I cared for my wife. Since she passed away, I have been searching for reasons. I found a couple of small ones, playing and writing music, but nothing holds my attention like she did. Story 39. The truth is I do not have one. The more I search, the more depressed I become. I am overwhelmed and do not know what to do. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger or thinking about harming yourself, please call emergency services. In the United States, call or text 988 for 24/7 support. If you are elsewhere, contact local emergency services or a trusted person. If you would like, I can help you find support or resources. Story 40. Would you rather rent an apartment you visited before or one you did not visit? Story 41. If not for my family, I would have been gone a long time ago. Story 42. I tried the other approach twice and failed. It is embarrassing at this point, so I will keep going. Story 43. My dogs rely on me. I have no family and barely any friends, so they are the only reason I am still here, to be honest. Story 44. To extract all the joy and wonder I can from this experience. I don't know if an afterlife exists or not, but I know this life does, so I want to make the absolute best of it. Story 45. Great question. It made me think for quite some time, and the strange thing is that I don't feel I have any reason to live. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. If you can, consider reaching out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for crisis support. If you are elsewhere, please contact local emergency services or a crisis line in your country. I can help find resources or someone to talk to if you want. Story 46. Because I want to. I am selfish and stubborn that way. I am old enough to know I have less time ahead of me than I have behind me, so I want to enjoy whatever time I have left. Story 47. My husband is the light of my life, and my world has only gotten better each day with him in it. Story 48. I would never want my kids to think this world is so bleak that their smiles and knowing they are loved are not worth it. Story 49. My kids. That said, I am not as actively avoiding death as I was before my spouse passed away. Story 50. To see all the beautiful places the world has to offer, to fall in love with someone, and to create something beautiful together. Story 51. I love my spouse too much for that. I will not let corporations win on my behalf. Story 52. My dad once deserted his 6 sons. He had been married to my mom for 13 years and left when I was 7. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, so I am close to matching that duration. I just want to be a better father than the one I had. Story 53. I woke up from my last sleep, which means my life goes on. Until something or someone takes me out, I will live fully. Some people worry so much about living that they forget to actually live and simply exist. Story 54. Lifetime is a resource. I'd hate to waste something that's out of stock. Story 55. I have several reasons to keep going despite the challenges. The universe is vastly more powerful than I am and could erase my existence in an instant. It seems appropriate to explore and be grateful for the life it continues to allow me to experience. Story 56. I get to spend roughly half the year going fast down snow-covered mountains. What a wonderful life. Story 57. My cats would have nowhere to go without me, and I would never forgive myself if I left them all alone. Story 58. I want to enjoy life even if the people and circumstances around me are unpleasant. Story 59. My parents would be heartbroken. I have watched them grieve 2 children, and I am their last. Story 60. Is not survival hardwired into our lizard brain? Story 61. When I was a child, I promised myself I would never quit. I cannot break my childhood dream. Story 62. I might say things like my family or my dogs, but in reality it is probably a combination of self-preservation and fear of the unknown. Story 63. Maybe it will get better someday. It has not yet, but it might. Story 64. Nobody but my pets would notice if I were gone. I live for them, but I'm trying to live for myself. It's so hard sometimes. It's my fault. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. Are you thinking about harming yourself? If you're in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. If you can, reach out to someone you trust or a crisis line. I can help find resources or stay with you here. Story 65. Others cannot and have had that choice taken away. My children and my wife. Story 66. I was given this one life. I am going to make the most of it. Story 67. I say this as someone who attempted to end my life several times long ago. Curiosity keeps me going. Life, people, and the universe are fascinating. I would miss all of that by dying. Life can be difficult. I am over 30 and single, and I struggle to get a date, but I really want to see what else is coming. There will be plenty of time to be dead later. There is not much time to experience life. I also stay for my friends, some family members, work, heavy metal, and so on. Story 68. The life I dream of. I hate my life right now and have for years. I often fantasize about what I want from life, what I want to accomplish, and where I want to be. Life may be difficult and painful now, but if I can reach the life I dream of, I know it will be worth it. Story 69. At some point I will be dead. I might as well live until then. Story 70. It's not like PlayStation. There is not a reset button. I went through that about 25 years ago and resolved it. I am still not completely sure it was the right decision, but I helped people along the way, so it works for me. Broadly speaking, it is fear these days. Understanding your own mortality, letting that awareness into the room with you, and repeatedly having, I've seen people die for less moments causes you to question many things. I have not come to terms with that, so my reason for living right now is essentially that, if that makes sense. I am scared of death because I have taken a good look at it and chosen something else instead. Story 71. It seemingly only happens once, so you might as well make the most of it. Story 72. Be better than I am and do not give up just because of the difficulties I am facing right now. Story 73. Life still has more to offer. Your journey is just beginning. Story 74. I will see the downfall of the last employer who wronged me. Death can wait. Vengeance takes priority. Story 75. I am finally setting plans in place to earn my freedom after high school. It would be a shame if I did not get to experience that. Story 76. I have a book to write. I intend to test Chiron's claim. Story 77. The world would be a better place without me. I can't let that happen. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. Are you thinking about hurting yourself, or do you have a plan? If you are in immediate danger, please call emergency services right now. In the U. Call 988. If you are elsewhere, contact your local emergency number or a local crisis line. You don't have to face this alone. I can help you find resources or contact someone who can support you. Story 78. My kids still need me and I need them. I want to see the bigger world someday. Story 79. I've never understood suicide. Why kill yourself when you're going to die anyway? Story 80. I rescued 6 dogs from certain death. I feel obliged to ensure they survive and have a great, full life. Story 81. When you are hired for a job you applied for, the least you can do as a responsible person is stay until the last minute. Story 82. My son. Without him, I might have ended my life. He is 26 and he is wonderful. If you are thinking about harming yourself or ending your life, please seek help now. In the United States, call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or call emergency services. If you are elsewhere, contact your local emergency services or a trusted person. If you would like, I can help find a helpline in your country or stay with you here. Are you safe right now? Story 83. My children do not deserve to be without a father, and my wife does not deserve to be without a husband. Story 84. I live because the cat meme economy is thriving, and no one can beat a good meow on a bad day. Story 85. Because I am in debt and I do not want the bank to have my money. Story 86. It would inconvenience too many people to be worth it. I will keep going and only inconvenience myself. I am sorry you are feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number right away. In the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. In the United Kingdom, you can call Samaritans at 116 123. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or a local crisis line. Would you like to talk about what is happening or who you could reach out to right now? I can stay with you and help find support. Story 87. I don't really have one. For most of my 20s, I actively pursued ending my life. I attempted suicide so many times that I find it difficult to identify or hold on to any motivation for living. I know I'm alive. When I'm at peace and social, I'm content, present, and awake. When I'm too joyful, I feel worthless and hopeless. When I'm deeply burdened and without emotional support, I question the value of my efforts. When I'm alone, my mind feels like it is rotting. I notice a slow decay of social and cognitive energy and of emotional resilience. It fades into numbness and into intellectualizing to solve the lack of community. I find it difficult to identify any definitive reason to be alive. If you are feeling unsafe or considering harming yourself, please seek help now. Call your local emergency number, contact a trusted person, or reach out to a crisis line. In the United States, call or text 988 for immediate support. If you are elsewhere, contact local emergency services or a local crisis hotline. Story 88. I have to outlive my wife because I do not want her to mourn me. Story 89. My cat. Someone else already abandoned him. He does not need that ever again. Story 90. My wife, kids, cat, and dog need the money at the very least. Story 91. I have kids, but I'm very tired. It's not the kind you can fix with sleep. Story 92. The pleasures of life and adventure revived me. I scraped together the last dollar I had and traveled to another country. A new perspective and a different world gave me a renewed take on life. Our realities are only a small part of a wider picture that we can still experience and enjoy. Story 93. When I had kids, I was pretty reckless when it was just me. Now I need to make sure they are safe and taken care of, so I question a lot of things that never used to bother me. Story 94. I am going to be dead for eternity. I do not care if my life is completely ruined. I am going to ride it out for the experience. Story 95. My son is the only good thing that came out of the chaos of divorce. Sadly, My daughters are victims of my ex's alienation and are not doing well, but my son rose above it all. Story 96. Someone very special donated an organ so a few of us could live. They are the reason I am alive. Story 97. I need to finish the comic I have been struggling with and complete at least one major project. I cannot give up because of the many failures behind me. I know life is built on small successes, but they are starting to feel meaningless. Story 98. There is so much to explore. The main reason is to finish at least some of my hobby projects. Story 99. I am generally happy and love life. I have a wife, 2 sons, and 2 cats. My high school motto was a man for others, and I enjoy being of small service to others. Story 100. I tried to take my life a few times, but I keep waking up in a different timeline, so I assume we have to finish the experience before moving on to the next stage. I am sorry you are feeling this way. If you are thinking about harming yourself now, please call your local emergency number immediately. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are not in the United States, please contact your local emergency services or a local crisis line. If you can, consider telling someone you trust that you are struggling. If you want, I can help find resources or support in your area. Story 101. Being alive is fun. I do not have children, but I hope my students would be devastated if I died. Story 102. My homegirl cares too much. Apparently that will be her breaking point. Story 103. My son and I have a goal of traveling the world by motorcycle. Story 104. I happen to be alive at the moment, and not everyone can say that. Story 105. A couple of movies I have been waiting too long to see were pulled before I had a chance to watch them. Story 106. Honestly, other than the obvious answers such as family, religion, and so on, gaming has been such a huge part of my life and I don't ever plan on stopping. Story 107. If I died, I'd be leaving my kids with their alcoholic father or my parents. My mother can be toxic. I refuse to do that to my kids. Story 108. Helping others by using what I have learned and how I have grown to encourage people who are going through similar experiences. Story 109. I used to think the possibility of having sex was my be-all and end-all reason for going on, but lately I have been moving away from that mentality and trying to find something else to hold on to. I am kind of just here, doing my best at the moment, laughing out loud. I do not think I am doing well in any part of my life. I feel like a letdown in general. My career, my relationship, my friendships, and my hobbies all feel subpar, laughing out loud, but I am still moving forward for whatever reason. I am hoping to find a new reason soon. Story 110. My family and life are pretty swell despite the collective depression on Reddit. Story 111. I want to be there for my wife and my cats. Outside of that, I want to see how this turns out. Story 112. My daughters are grown, but we are very close, and they are my favorite people. My sweet cat is my best buddy. Story 113. I imagine my future family and the cats I will adopt playing music and making good memories. Story 114. I am tall, handsome, and my beard is nice. Yes, that is a package answer. Story 115. My parents and my babies also need to eat dog food. Story 116. Despite a lot of things that happened, I still have my spark. I live for my family, my faith, and the things I have yet to achieve. Story 117. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. I can't help edit a sentence that describes killing yourself. Are you thinking about harming yourself right now? Do you have a plan or access to means? If you are in immediate danger, call emergency services now, for example, 911 in the U. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 or use 988 Lifeline org to chat with someone. If you are outside the U, please contact your local emergency number or find international hotlines at https://www.opencounseling.com/suicide hotlines. If you can, please reach out to a trusted person near you and tell them how you feel. I can help you find local resources, contact a crisis line, or rewrite the message into safer wording for Azure text-to-speech. Here are some alternative, TTS-friendly phrasings you could use instead. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I'm overwhelmed and can't make a decision right now. I'm feeling really low and unsure what to do. I'm struggling and need help figuring out what to do next. Are you safe right now? Story 118. My wife has been through a lot and even came out the other side of a quit game attempt. She deserves a chance to see how good life can be. I have worked hard for the past 10 years to give her that. She is the only thing in my life keeping me going. Story 119. I finally started to get a handle on my mental health at 44. After about 6 or 7 mental health professionals and doctors completely failed to help me in any meaningful way, other than wasting my time and lining their pockets. One of my parents is a retired doctor and, in my view, a complete piece of crap. I feel the best I have ever felt after 3.5 decades of miserable depression, marked by daily suicidal ideation and, at times, anhedonia, an inability to feel joy. So I might as well try to make the rest of my life better, and if it is not, well, I still know how to tie a necktie. Story 120. To accomplish my dreams and prove to others that I am as valuable as I know I am. Story 121. This is not a complaint or a cry for help. It is just an honest answer. The only reason I live is that Jesus Christ does not want me by his side. So I am trapped in this place, alone, miserable, and scared. I have survived things that should have killed me so many times that I have made a game of it. This is not a brag. It is a warning. Believe in the Lord or not. He believes in you. Do not wait too long like I did. I cannot even kill myself. I have tried so many times and only wake up later, crying out of frustration. There are things so much worse than death, and I know because I am one of them. Story 122. After 100 years in the ground, you have just begun to be dead. Being alive is better, even though it can be shitty sometimes. Story 123. I have a lot of clothes to wear and I invested in many bags. Who is going to wear them? Story 124. Most definitely for my children and my grandchildren. There is absolutely nothing I would love more than to see my grandchildren get married and have children of their own. I would also love to be part of my great-grandchildren's lives, even if only for a short while. Story 125. I believe that the more I suffer, the less others will suffer. My job is to absorb as much suffering as I can. That will probably end soon. I have had enough. I am really sorry you are feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you have a plan to hurt yourself or are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number, for example, 988 in the United States, or contact emergency services now. If you are not in immediate danger, please consider reaching out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. If you want, I can help find crisis resources or contacts in your area. Story 126. My parents do not have to suffer through burying one of their children like I did. Story 127. Crafting, creating, and enjoying art such as music, anime, and television. Story 128. Adopt 2 children and visit the United States. That is my biggest dream for some reason. Story 129. My daughters and grandchildren are the only reason I am still here. Story 130. My fiancé keeps me going. My leopard gecko, Mustard, does too, a silly fucker. Story 131. I enjoy meat and would like to eat more of it, prepared in many different ways. Story 132. Not being homeless. As for meaning, that would be a personal matter for you. Story 133. I'm too much of a coward to end it, so I just say love is important so people do not get worried. The gathering is cool. I like music and Taco Bell makes some good frozen drinks. I'm sorry you are feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact local emergency services or a local crisis line. If you want, I can help you find resources or someone to talk to. Story 134. I am still waiting for the day I can live as I want. It is not far away now. I hope to wake up one morning and not have to go to an office. Story 135. I still have good deeds I can do for myself and others. I can save a life, create a new life with a partner and experience parenthood. Make someone feel heard or understood when they need it most. Or perhaps something I would not expect, like the opportunity to donate a kidney to someone who needs it more than I do, inventing or discovering something new, or the chance to help anyone I can and bring what I consider good into the world. There is also a kind of nihilistic curiosity that keeps me going. The ride is short anyway. 20 years and 100 years are basically the same on the scale of the universe. This consciousness is my glimpse of whatever is happening right now. I missed the first about 14 billion years, and I will miss an unimaginably long future, so I might as well see if anything interesting happens like human history in the brief time I am in it. I will not know what comes after. Story 136. Whenever something makes me happy, whether it is a new movie, series, song, book, or even a silly trend, my mind always goes to the thought that if I had really gone through with the suicide I once considered, I would not be enjoying this now. The idea that so many more things are waiting to be enjoyed by my future self is what keeps me here. Life is full of little joys just waiting for me tomorrow. I am sorry you are feeling this way. If you or someone else is in immediate danger, call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local crisis hotline, a trusted person, or a mental health professional. Story 137. There is not really a point to dying, I guess. I have thought about killing myself multiple times, either to prove a point or because life did not feel worth it. But I realize that thinking that way is pointless. Death is just an experience, and everything else is experience too. My suffering would not necessarily stop if I died. I would simply not be there. I have grown used to adversity and I get through it, and in a strange way it can be almost interesting. I might once have said pets, family, or favorite media, but those are experiences as well. They are attachments I care about, but anything can be lost if you no longer feel it. I am sorry you are feeling this way. If you are thinking about harming yourself or are in immediate danger, please contact your local emergency services now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please reach out to local emergency numbers, a trusted person, or a mental health professional. Would you like help finding resources or someone to talk to right now? Story 138. I love feeling alive. The sea and the salt on my lips, the music, nature, the birds singing in the morning, the delicious food, and all the beautiful places and people to discover. Story 139. Snacks, including new Lay's chips and a variety of chocolate combinations. Story 140. My wife and kids might be why I am still alive now. Story 141. I am just enjoying life. I feel all the hard work I am putting in is going to continue to be fruitful. I have been through many traumatic events and abuse, and I am finally financially stable and having fun. I have a sense of purpose, desires, and goals. Story 142. I want to look behind every corner for a reason to live, so I have no regrets about dying. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. Are you thinking about killing yourself, or do you have a plan to do so? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or crisis line in your country. Please consider reaching out to a trusted friend, family member, or a mental health professional and let them know how you're feeling. If you'd like, I can stay and talk or help find resources in your area. Story 143. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number, for example, 988 in the United States or 112 in many countries, or go to the nearest emergency department. If you are not in immediate danger, consider contacting a trusted person or a mental health professional, or tell me your country and I can provide local crisis resources. Corrected sentence for Azure text-to-speech. My attempts have failed, and it is embarrassing to explain to anyone why I did it. I feel numb and sometimes hope for an early grave. Story 144. The person I love most is alive and well, and I want to be there for her if she wants me. Story 145. To die and go to heaven, because this life isn't it. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.